Welcome, everyone, to the June 5th meeting of the Pitt County Board of Education. Thank you, everyone at home, for watching, and a special welcome to everyone here tonight. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to be here. I'd like to call this meeting to order, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Anna Barrett Smith.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Smith, can you follow with a moment of silence?
Yes, I'd ask that you join me in a moment of silence. And as we do so, we want to remember the families of two of our students that we've recently lost, Ahmad Cobb, who was a student at Wintergreen Primary, and Randavia Purvis, who is a student at Pactolus. So we want to remember their families, as well as the children who are still testing, those preparing to graduate, and the kids for whom summer is not something they look forward to. So. Thank you.
Me.
Thank you. Okay, routine business. Are there any adjustments to the agenda?
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
after hearing no adjustment, I motion we approve the agenda as is.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign, and motion passes. Thank you very much. Dr. Lewis will lead us in the spotlight on teaching and learning.
Good evening. As always, we have a lot of wonderful things going on in Pitt County schools each and every day. And tonight, we first want to recognize a student athlete who has excelled at the highest level in state competition. I would like to ask to come forward Dexter McDuffie, a junior at South Central High School, along with his coach, Robert Wolbert. I'll come right up here. Dexter won the state championship in the 300-meter hurdles at the 4A State Track and Field Championships recently held at North Carolina A&T State University. You can see he's got his medal with him too, and the T-shirt. Dexter finished the race in 37.91 seconds, and we wanted to show you, since it was only 37 seconds,
That's good.
and you weren't running a marathon, we thought we'd show you this really briefly.
You want to tell me what lane he is first?
And right here's Dexter, where I got the arrow.
Okay.
Okay.
So keep your eye on him. Don't blink.
Oh, yeah. Not even moving. That head's not even moving. Wow. Looks like an Olympian.
Well, he just ran through that. I used to be able to do stuff like that.
And Coach Wolbert wanted to share just a little bit about Dexter.
The thing about Dexter, he is the definition of a student athlete. He does it in the classroom, he does it in athletics, but at the same point, it's the character to me that stands out. And obviously, you see how well he did at the state championships. That's with tremendous hard work. He is always the last person off the track. At the same point, he's always constantly taking honors classes and trying to excel in the classroom as well. And he has tremendous character. Yes, sir. No, sir, and displays sportsmanship and leadership as well with the younger kids in his group, in the hurdle group. And he's been doing it since his freshman year. And again, he always sets goals, and he broke his school record in both sets of hurdles multiple times. He won 3 gold medals at the conference meet, and he won the regionals and also qualified for states and won 10 hurdles and also finished 6th in the 110 hurdles. So again, he'll probably set loftier goals because that's the way he is, and he's just a great young man to coach and again in the classroom, school, athletics as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Dexter, I'm going to run
runner myself. In fact, I'm signed up to run the Meeting Mountain 10-mile run race in Hollister, North Carolina in October. You have any tips for me?
He said they were coming.
Run fast.
Wear your shoes tight and just be ready to run.
Well, that's very impressive, and we do have this certificate for you, which says that Pitt County Board of Education proudly recognizes Dexter McDuffie for creating excellence in the East. So congratulations to you. You certainly shine a great spotlight on Pitt County schools, and
Yes, ma'am.
it's great to hear your academics are just as important as your athletics. So
Yes, ma'am.
congratulations.
Thank you.
They're not here yet? All right, we'll get a picture when they come.
Okay.
All right, hang on.
They're right there.
Here they are, right here.
Right
Yeah,
there.
better get what you got when you get it.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you very much, man.
Very proud of you.
You want to hold this?
You want me to hold it up for you?
Sure.
Did it hurt when you hit that hurdle?
Yes, sir.
There you go.
Where's he going to school?
Are you a sophomore?
He's a junior.
He's junior, yes, ma'am.
Just remember, I get pride, my husband says. That's Forgive him for I fail, Miss
Not fair
Smith.
move.
I fail. Yeah, he's a junior now, so
Squeeze
he's
on
used
in.
it. We go up Sunday.
Payment.
Congratulations.
I want to shake your hand. I'm very proud of you. Definition of a scholar athlete. Really proud of you. Keep up the good work.
Good job, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we have one other item we wanted to share with you tonight. And that item, you know, it's a group that often gets overlooked for just how much they do for our school system and our students. It's often done behind the scenes. In fact, we just let them out tonight for the first time. At this time, I'd like to ask Deborah Barriott, our Chief Finance Officer, to come forward, as well as some of her staff that are present tonight. Sunny Barr, Renee Dunn, Lisa Veal, and Wanda Newman. If you guys will come right up here. I'll let you hold the heavy one. You do the heavy lifting. Yeah, if you look this way at the board. Told you we don't let them out much. Recently, Pitt County Schools received 2 awards due to the dedication and excellence of our finance department. These awards are for a comprehensive annual financial report for the period ending June 20th of 2016. The first is a Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting, awarded by the Government Finance Officers Association. The certificate is the highest form of recognition in the area of governmental accounting and financial reporting. The CAFR, as it's known, has been judged by an impartial panel to meet the highest standards of the program, which demonstrates a constructive spirit of full disclosure to clearly communicate the financial story. The second recognition is the Certificate of Excellence Award from the Association of School Business Officials International. This award confirms the school finance office's commitment to financial accountability and transparency. Recognition through the program can help strengthen a district's presentation for bond issuance statements and promotes high-quality financial reporting. In addition to these 2 awards, Pitt County Schools also received an award from the State Board of Education for excellence in financial reporting. The district is graded on 7 different areas and awarded points. These areas include cash zero-out percentages, UERS compliance, overspent programs, underspent programs, position per month usage, salary audit exceptions, and invalid expenditure codes. And during the 15-16 year, the Pitt County Schools Finance Department processed 58,721 payroll checks totaling over $125 million and 18,000 accounts payable checks totaling nearly $40 million. This could not have been done without the hard work and dedication of all the members of the Finance Department. They've spent many evenings and long hours to assure employees and invoices were paid accurately and that month-end and year-end processes went smoothly. In addition, the finance staff monitors all the bank accounts of all 37 schools whose expenditures total over $6 million. Their dedication and hard work do not go unnoticed and are greatly appreciated. And so please join me in thanking them for their hard work.
Congratulate you. Congratulations. So proud of y'all. I'd just like to say, I think one of these awards we've never won before.
They got to
And
put that picture.
This, y'all want to get a picture? Let's
Yeah.
see. You take a picture of me, please. Yeah. Hold up all this class. You know, the public entrusts quite a great deal of money with us. Do you mind if I'm in it with you?
That's fine.
I'm so proud of you.
A great deal of money.
A great deal of money. And you guys account for every penny. And it's,
Yes, ma'am.
it's a really good feeling to know that you guys are doing a fantastic job, not just from what we see, but from external third parties see. So thank you very much. It's another example of excellence in Pitt County. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And next item on the agenda is public expression. We have two people here to speak tonight. The first is Chris Barnes. Mr. Barnes, you're representing yourself.
Yes,
Is that
ma'am.
correct? So you'll
Yes,
have 3 minutes.
All right. I'm representing my 11-year-old daughter. My name's Chris Barnes. I've got 2 children that attend the school system here. My 11-year-old daughter is the reason I'm here. She says that the polo shirts are boys' shirts. She doesn't want to wear them. So that's the whole reason behind all this. I've sent you all emails that show the statistics that say that, you know, your current uniform policy is not meeting what the original policy stated it would over the course of the 10 years. So I don't think we need to go back through all those. But even one of the surveys that you all said, the climate survey that you said you were using originally to help determine whether or not this policy was going to go into effect, you only had 28% of your staff saying that they thought it was effective. One of the last things I heard was that is to help identify intruders on campus. If you're not requiring staff or visitors to wear uniforms, how are you identifying anybody, an intruder on campus? And the other is you said you spoke to the gang officers. I don't know if you all know, but the majority of gangs in the United States originated from the prisons where they wear uniforms. So, you know, wearing uniforms in schools doesn't stop them. There are other ways to have interventions with students to do away with gangs other than uniforms. I guess I'm the only dissenting voice, so it's going to sail through. Congratulations.
Thank you for coming.
And I better get a good Father's Day gift.
Is she here?
No, she's not.
Thank you.
That's the best way to get one.
Thank you very much. Mr. Keith Cooper, representing Pitt County Southern Christian Leadership Conference, President.
Good evening.
5 minutes.
Good evening. Very quickly, I want to remind you guys of a recent piece that was in the Daily Reflector. As a matter of fact, a couple of pieces. One was the May the 8th, Monday, May the 8th. It says, study low-income minority graduate rates still lag. May the 8th, 2017. That is certainly a concern of mine, not as an organizational leader, but also as a concerned citizen. I looked, for example, Madam Chairman, at the stats at J.H. Rose for the last year, 2016, and there the graduation rate among white students was 88.3% versus 66.3% for blacks. And I would like to have some answers for that. There's a situation there where you have over roughly 800 black students versus about 500 or so white students that particular year. But there's a 20% differential in the graduation rate. That's very concerning. Over at South Central, the numbers were not quite as alarming. 92.2% white versus 82.3% black. Now, let's look back at the mission statement here. It says, Pitt County Schools will ensure that all students are provided a rigorous and personalized education that prepares them for the ever-changing challenges of the 21st century. We certainly want that to be realized in a number of ways. Now, we're not here to point fingers. Frankly speaking, I believe the old saying, it begins at home. It does begin at homes. We need to get more parents involved, and we as an organization will do that. We will mobilize parents. We would ask them to not rest on their laurels, that, their children can succeed. We can have more Dexter McDuffies being represented, and that's what we want. If I walk into a class in the Pitt County school system and there are 20 students and there's 0 black students, I want to know why. Where are the black students? Why aren't they represented here? So we have to perhaps even look at another piece that was in the Daily Reflector. Achievement gap can be narrowed. This was based on a study done by the Raleigh News and Observer and the Charlotte Observer, which came out May the 29th in the paper. And very quickly, for my time is up, to bring out a couple points. It says, no matter what new teaching techniques or new technologies are applied, minority children from low-income families lag behind in tests that measure what they have learned in school. Minority students from low-income areas too often encounter low expectations. That's part of the problem, Mr. Forbes. Low expectations from their parents, teachers, and from themselves. Finally, a joint investigation conducted by those two papers has found another reason why children from low-income families are not well represented in ranks of top-performing students. They never get a chance to be part of classes that challenge and strengthen the best students. It even gives some recommendations. 1, hire more school counselors. We need school counselors that are going to steer students with high potential in the right direction and impress upon them that they need to be challenged. We need to use gifted classes fully, according to this report. We need to hire more teachers of color. We need to go beyond East Carolina University. We need to look at Fayetteville State. We need to look at North Carolina Central and other HBCUs, Shaw University. That's what we need to do. And they have some other suggestions. So the bottom line is that we want to see more students of color graduate valedictorians, salutatorians of the class. We want to see more of them in advanced placement and honors classes so that they can tap and harness their true potential and become successful in what they do academically. That's our goal. We're not pointing fingers. We have to hold parents accountable. We have to hold the school board accountable. We have to hold business leaders, the clergy. We need more after-school programs. There are some churches that do that. We need churches to get involved. And we need a proliferation of that. So more later, but please keep these thoughts in mind.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Okay, moving on to the next item, which is consent items for approval. All the board members should have had an opportunity to review the consent items. I don't believe there were any pulled from the list. Is there a motion? Say that, I'm sorry.
I motion that we approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve by Ann Barrett Smith, and Ms. Council has seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand, of approving the consent items. All opposed? Okay. Did you catch that, Carol? I didn't see. Okay, very good. On to new business. We have Kylie Dibble here to make a presentation to us for parents for public schools of Pitt County. Thank you for coming. I see we also have the executive director of the board here. Did I miss something?
We do. We have our board president and our past board president and our social work intern from this past year. But I want to say to all of you, thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. Thank you for, this is the third year in a row that we've had an opportunity to present our community conversations findings. And you always listen and you let parents know that their voices are important. And I so appreciate that. So thank you for letting me be here. Again, my name is Kylene Dibble, and I'm the Executive Director of Parents for Public Schools of Pitt County, also known as PPS for short. We are, just as a reminder, we're a group of about 2,200 local parents and community members. And our mission is to advance the role of families and communities in securing a high-quality public education for each child. We run 3 main programs here in Pitt County: the Parent Engagement Program, School Tours, and Community Conversations. The PEP program just graduated its 3rd class of 13 empowered and educated graduates right here in this room a few weeks ago, and several of those graduates currently sit on your board. So thank you all for participating. Our school tour program just wrapped up a series of elementary, middle, and high school tours for families in transition, in addition to our regular tours for local government officials, recruiting and hiring officers, realtors, and families. But it's our 3rd program, the Community Conversations, that brings me here tonight. Community Conversations are short conversations that provide Pitt County residents an opportunity to share their voices regarding the strengths and the needs of public education in Pitt County. We record all of their comments and suggestions anonymously, verbatim, both written and verbal. And then we crunch and analyze that data and come up with what you have in front of you, which is our 3rd Community Conversation Report. So all of you should have a copy of that at your seat. So this report is given to you as a way of delivering the voices of our community directly to you, the key decision makers of public education in our county. And before I get to the specifics of the report, I do want to thank you, the Pitt County Board of Education, the administration of Pitt County Schools, for consistently encouraging and facilitating our work. I'd also like to thank the United Way of Pitt County, the Pitt County Education Foundation, the Chamber of Commerce, and all of the donors and foundations who support our mission. I also want to give some special thanks to Caitlin Wyatt. She was our Bachelor of Social Work intern from ECU, and she significantly contributed to this report. So thank you for all of your hard work. I could not have finished this without Caitlin. But let's dive into the report. So first, who did we talk to? As always, we talked to parents and community members. But this year we did expand our conversations to include a few teacher groups and a few student groups. There are 3 sections in your report that correspond to the 3 groups. You'll find first a section of parents and community members on page 14. Then you'll find a second section on page 40 of Pitt County teachers, and then a 3rd section on page 54 of student groups. In total, we spoke to 31 groups, holding conversations at schools, businesses, civic organizations, parenting groups, and several nonprofit organizations. And that totaled just over 500 people in Pitt County this past year who wanted to share their voices with you. So what did we talk about? We started out the year talking about what's going well in Pitt County, the greatest needs in Pitt County schools, ideas about how schools can encourage parent engagement, and why parents choose public, private, and charter schools. And then as the year went on, we began to ask about some ideas for addressing the population growth and under-enrollment issues. And we asked about the experiences that people have as a customer when they walk into a Pitt County school. So, finally, what did we learn? First and foremost, it was great news. The community at large was very pleased with their experiences in Pitt County schools. In fact, I would say that the list of positives outweighed the list of negatives. So I think everyone involved with Pitt County schools should pat themselves on the back for that. Specifically, similar to our last report that we gave last year, the most frequent comment about what's going well in Pitt County schools is that we have outstanding staff and teachers. Parents feel like teachers are approachable, like they do a great job teaching, and most importantly, they feel that teachers keep their students safe and provide the nurturing they need as they grow and develop. One concern that arose in this area was that there's a need for more behavioral training and resources for teachers in the behavior management department. This might include more behavior curriculum similar to PBIS. One suggestion that was given for implementing those types of programs would be that any program that comes in as a new program and is implemented be thoroughly evaluated before deciding if it will continue. And in as much as possible, keeping administrative support at each school consistent in order to effectively enforce the behavior management programs. Community conversations participants were also very pleased with the communication they received from Pitt County Schools. That was a top strength that was noted. Specifically, the variety of communication was brought up several times. So parents enjoy that they're getting weekly folders, apps like Remind Me and Dojo, robocalls, emails, etc. 2 years ago, our report showed that one improvement that was needed was communication. So for communication to be seen as a top strength this year is a recognizable and commendable sign of growth. So thank you for listening to the needs and addressing them. One of the main needs that rose to the top among all 3 community conversations groups, so the parents and community, the teachers, the students, was a desire for students to take some form of life skills courses. Topics from financial literacy to how to change a tire and many more were brought up, and everyone seemed to think that students would benefit from not only an academic education, but a skills-based one as well. Parents for Public Schools would like to recommend that a committee spend some time this year researching those types of programs and their success rates in other school systems, both locally and nationally. If the board agrees with this as a priority, Parents for Public Schools would be happy to assist with that type of research. All 3 groups also made it clear that they would like to see more resources provided and shared equally with the schools. So books were at the top of the list, not just textbooks, but all types of printed material. But also there were frequent requests for technological equipment in the schools, more actual school supplies, especially in January when things start to run low. So one recommendation that's been made is that this could fall on community service projects, that people in the community could take a role in holding community service drives and really helping this need throughout the middle of the school year. And if that becomes something that we feel should happen, then we as Parents for Public Schools is also happy to help advertise those types of projects. It's also obvious from our discussions this year that parents want to be involved, teachers want them involved, and students actually like knowing that their parents are involved in the schools in some way. The message that was most often heard about this topic was that there must be a way for parents to know what opportunities are available to volunteer, and there must be out-of-the-box opportunities, so nights, weekends, ways to volunteer at home. We understand that Pitt County Schools has already got something in the works for an online volunteer system, and so we're happy to share that as it becomes available. When we asked why parents choose public schools, some factors included cost, proximity to home or work, and services provided such as transportation, meals, services for EC students. Parents were also very happy with open enrollment. Many parents stated that private and charter schools are chosen based largely on perceptions, even though those perceptions may not always be accurate. So they choose them based on smaller class sizes, there's less discipline problems, things like that, or the perceptions that are out there. One piece of conversation that rose to the top several times was that people would like to see Pitt County Schools increase marketing materials and strategies, particularly in areas that have a high competition for private and charter schools. So one suggestion that was made was that maybe there could be flyers or brochures developed that would be distributed to daycares that are targeted by private and charter schools. Participants' rating of the customer service aspect when they walked into a Pitt County school was quite positive. Most participants said they feel very warmly greeted and welcome in the schools, although some people begin to feel more like a number when their child enters middle and high school, and they have to wait to be helped sometimes because those schools get so busy. In addition, parents and community members and teachers all suggested that some brief customer service training might be beneficial for some of the front office staff. The physical environment of the schools came up frequently this year in the conversations, and there was an agreement that a school's outward appearance should be welcoming. So Parents for Public Schools recommends that schools focus on beautification, and perhaps one goal of creating beautification teams might be that teams of staff, parents, and community members who would regularly complete small beautification projects to make the school feel welcoming inside and out, which would also address some of our volunteer opportunities that were mentioned earlier. When topics of open enrollment, redistricting, and building new schools were discussed as potential solutions to population growth in some schools and low enrollment in others, it was obvious, once again, that the majority of parents are very happy with open enrollment. In fact, there were students who reported positive feelings about their ability to participate in open enrollment. There were some teachers who worried that it could have a potentially negative effect, especially in rural schools. And there were some participants who were very open to the idea of building a new school, especially if it was in closer proximity to their home. I know this is a lot to take in. It's a lot. We spoke to over 500 people in 31 conversations, so it was a lot. But luckily, our report is in an executive summary between pages 4 through 7. So you don't even have to read the entire book to get the main points that parents want to share with you. But if you would like to take a more detailed look at the report that's in front of you, you will read the actual words and actual comments of our community members. Every comment that was made by all 511 people is included in your report, so you can see everything that parents and community members have had to say. It is our hope that this report will prove to be helpful to you as you continue to make decisions that positively influence public education here in our county. And last, just to let you know, our work on next year's community conversation starts immediately. In fact, it already has. We've already had 1 or 2 conversations for next year's report. So if you know of a group who would like to host a community conversation, please let us know and we would be happy to set that up. That's the conclusion of my report. I thank you so much for your time and your attention and just for how supportive you've been of this work for the past several years. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Ms.
I do.
Are there any questions?
Yes, Madam Chairman.
Sure.
You said it all. You interviewed 2,200 parents.
So, no,
You
ma'am.
have 2,200 members.
Yes, ma'am.
That's part of the Parents for Public Schools.
Yes, ma'am.
And you did 3, I think you said, group sessions.
So we did 31 community conversations this year with 3 different types of groups. So parents and community members, teachers, and students were the 3 groups. But overall, there were 31 conversations held.
And you had graduation a couple of weeks ago. I saw it on the news.
Of the parent engagement program.
How many were black
Yes, ma'am. In this year's
or Hispanic?
In this year's group, we had, I believe, 1 black male. It was very different from last year's group, which was, I would say, probably 40% African American.
And where are you holding are you letting out enough information to let the community be aware of when you're holding these listening sessions or conversations?
So the
And
way
in
that
what
most
districts? In
Sure.
what districts? are
Sure,
you
and there's
holding?
actually a list in here of all of the community conversations that were held and where they were held and what group they were with. There's also a breakdown of race and ethnicity that's shown in some charts.
I know that this right here, I was reading some of this earlier,
Sure.
and I was wondering whether or not, do you have any of these things printed in Spanish?
We do not. We would love to get to a point that happens. We do have a volunteer who is able to translate things for us into Spanish, and a volunteer board member who is able to go with us and translate as well.
One of your most frequently asked questions you said was there was a concern about behavior issues, like we needed more PBIS and incentives and things of that nature.
Correct.
Where did you get that data from?
So that came from several of the conversations with all 3 groups of constituents. So it was a top thing that rose from groups of parents and community members, groups of teachers, and groups of students who all felt that just more resources in the area of behavior management would be helpful.
Does anybody else have any questions or comments?
I have one more.
Yes, ma'am.
You said that you were aware of something that was in the works for online volunteering.
Yes.
From what?
So we've heard from Pitt County Schools that there may be some possibilities in the future of some online opportunities for volunteering. I don't know a lot about that, so we would be happy to help with that in any way.
And the reason why I was asking about how many blacks, Hispanics, people that were in your community conversation is because we gave you all last year various minorities that were leaders in our community, and we haven't heard any feedback from them being, contacted to be able to have input so that we could reach a wide range and have a more diverse group in
Sure.
parents from public schools.
So that feedback was given 2 years ago, and last year we were able to bring our ethnicity and racial diversity up quite a bit. This year we had 54% of our participants were white, 41% were black, 3% were Hispanic, and 2% were other. We actually have contacted numerous of those groups. Ms. Council was very helpful in giving us a list, and many of them have agreed to community conversations over the past 2 years, and those have been very fruitful conversations. So we are very appreciative of the suggestions, and again, we're already starting conversations now, so we would gladly take more suggestions. But that list was, every single person on that list was contacted, and those who were able to have conversations did. So thank you so much for that information.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions from anyone on the board? I really look forward to reading this.
Thank you.
It's a great deal of work. 500 plus? It's
Yes,
a
ma'am.
lot of participants to speak with and then to analyze their comments and opinions.
Oh,
So
yeah,
that's
sure.
fantastic. Now, is this information available to the public?
It will be. This will be put on our website. We just need to get it up there. We wanted to present it to you guys first.
I am
But it will be
excited that
available.
You have a Latino, you said you have a Latino volunteer who,
So we have a Latino volunteer who's been able to translate several of our flyers into Spanish, and we do have a Hispanic board member. We worked very closely with a Mexican this year, and there just didn't end up being a date that we could do a community conversation with them, but we're already working with them to try to set up a date for the coming year.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really
Thank you.
appreciate the work you do
Thank you.
to support our schools. Thank you. And to let us know more about what parents are thinking. It's fantastic. Okay. Next item under new business is the first reading of miscellaneous new and revised policies. Ms. Brady and Ms. Council.
The policy committee met a couple weeks ago, and we had a large group. I suspect that was because we talked about dress code, but that's coming up. But we have 6 policies that are for first reading tonight that we'll have again on your agenda at the end of June for approval. So 6 revised policies and 3 new ones. And one of the main revisions that the committee is recommending is that, I believe, starting for next year, that we will accept applications for discretionary admissions for out-of-county students. So that's just for your information. If you have any questions before the June meeting, just let me know, or Ms. Council know.
That was, is it the 9? It's the 9 policies that are on, right? So that's.
Yeah.
Ms. Council, do you have anything to add?
No, I don't. The conversations were interesting, and we thank all the people coming out to give their input, and all those we surveyed by telephone or in the grocery store, however we got them, got their opinions. We thank all the parents for participating in
Okay,
that.
so those policies will be, that's just first reading. Okay. So, next, thank you very much, Ms. Grady and Ms. Council. The next item is policy 4316, school dress code and appearance. As many of you know, April had our board meeting, a parent came and during public expression and shared some concerns that he had about the current Pitt County Schools uniform policy. And there were several board members, I think 4 that night, who spoke up about wanting to take a look, to review our uniform policy. And that is what we did. We spent the next 2 months, April and May, yep, this is barely June, doing a deep dive into uniform policy. And I'd like to point out that there was a board work session in April and a board work session in May, where a significant amount of time was spent discussing the current uniform policy and coming to consensus. And I'd also like to point out that Dr. Linker was able to send out a survey early, very early after the April board meeting, after the topic had come up and enough board members had expressed an interest in taking a look at it. Because it's important to survey our principals. There were 34. I think that's all of our principals ended up responding to a lengthy survey, and that data was shared with us and collated so that we could see where the principals were having, and their staffs were having issues in enforcing. Where were the biggest friction points for them in the enforcement. And there were also, and that's where we started. There were also, I think, 7 board members held listening sessions at Wintergreen, CMEPS, Welcome, and Lake Forest, and where many people came. They were publicized, I think, through our website, and I believe the newspaper ran the dates for those, and we had lots of people come to participate in those. We also heard via the internet, via our email boxes. We received 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess they were surveys from different people who took it upon themselves. 3 of them were surveys, actually. I think the Facebook discussion was just that, a group of moms who apparently have a Facebook chatting group. I'm sorry, I don't do Facebook, but some sort of a group where they routinely share with each other. That was sent to all the board members. And then a teacher did a survey, sent the results to all of us, and 2 others. These were all unsolicited by any board member. I think some were sent to Dr. Linker, some were sent to Carol, I think one was sent to you, and y'all were all asked to share them with the entire board, so the entire board saw all of them after they were done. And there was also, PPS actually hosted a Facebook Live event and invited Betsy to have a discussion on Facebook Live with Ms. Dibble, and how long was that, an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, with questions back and forth, and people commented, right, on their computers or their phones. So that too was shared. And then board members did a lot of polling individually. Every board member was able to take some time to go to a wide variety of events, and as you said, in the grocery store and at church, and I know myself, I went to 1, 2, 3, 4 different school events, actually 5 different school events at schools, at different schools, Creekside, Elmhurst, E.B. Aycock, an athletic event at Rose, and then an all-county orchestra event, and then Math Masters was actually held off-site at a community, at a church, and there were lots of different parents there for that. So that's where I was able to speak with people, and I made an effort to not talk to anybody that I knew. I just wanted to hear from strangers that didn't know me and whom I didn't know. That was important to me. And I think many board members did the same. So, all the board members contributed the results of their survey. We categorize that information, it's actually all of that together is 1,009 individuals. 35% of the 1,009 expressed an opinion that they want no uniform policy. 21% expressed an opinion, of the 1,009 expressed an opinion that they like the uniform policy as it is with no changes. And 42% expressed an opinion that they like some type of uniform policy, but with changes that they then suggested. And then 2% were NA. They weren't specific enough to figure out. So that was information that was shared with all the board members, all the results of the listening sessions and the surveys that were sent to various people that were shared with the board. And then we all shared with each other the results of our own individual polling with the folks that we had come across. So that was the information that, that we received. And of course, we did look at the climate survey as well to start with. So there was a lot of public input, a lot of interest in this topic, and I think that's a great thing to have over 1,000 individuals take an interest in sharing their opinion and really thinking about it. And making suggestions, suggestions that would make it easier for them as parents. At least that's what they talked about to me. A lot of parents said it would make it so much easier for them if they had more colors to choose from, or if it was easier for them to figure out the length. Lots of different suggestions, and I think that was the same with all the rest of the folks here. So, I think that's all I'm going to say about the issue. So are there questions or discussion? Would any other board member like to share?
I would say, I think the board has made a great attempt to make adjustments based on input from students as well as the parents. I do think it's a responsibility of the staff up here as well as the superintendent and the principals to ensure that what we have implemented is enforced consistently. It has not been in the past. And that was one reason why I was in favor of making many of these changes. I could go to one school, it looked like the dress code was being enforced to the T. I go to another school, and I couldn't really tell if there was a dress code or uniform policy. There are several things that we have in here that is always up for review. Am I correct on that? We can review input from the principals or superintendent or anyone that's submitted. There's a review process that we have, I think, is it once a year? Or
Yes, it's on page
once a
3. Page 3, item B, number 3, principal exceptions. Any exception from these requirements that the principal wants to implement during any school year must be presented to and approved by the Board of Education before the start of any school year.
Yeah, once a year.
Yeah.
And I think that was important, so it's something that we can make adjustments to. Another thing, I do believe that we discussed that students would not be charged. Is this correct, Caroline?
I'm sorry.
I think we discussed that students would not be charged for wearing certain clothing on a Friday or a certain day, because we've got spirit wear in here that students can wear spirit wear every day.
That's right, so there
To
should
show
be no
spirit
charge.
within their school.
That's right.
So students should not be charged.
And we
I just want to make sure that that's,
there was consensus among every board member that
board.
that no longer occur.
but I do not
Discussed
see
it
it
also in
here.
policy.
So I would want to make sure that it doesn't happen
added
in the
in.
schools
Yep.
and that it's added.
Maybe we need to make another policy with that regard. I think.
Well, all you've got to do is add it to what we have.
Pardon, Cynthia, is it in here?
You got enforcement in item C, I think it covers.
But
a
it
lot.
It does not state
We had
fundraising for
enforcement all through
spirit
that
wear.
uniform policy, but they charged on Fridays, Thursdays, some Mondays.
Okay.
It just says on number 5 on page 2,
Yeah,
it says in order to promote school and community spirit.
That's where I was
principals
looking for.
At their discretion will have the authority to approve school spirit wear and school club wear to be worn on any school day. This includes t-shirts, sweatshirts, fleece jackets, and hoodies. It does not state in here.
so that's
That
what
when
my
we-
concern was,
So
and I
I think
want to
it
make
can
it
be
state.
added to that.
Cynthia, just
It
ask
should
for
be
some
added.
clarification on this. So we're in number 2 that they're talking about.
Right.
Number 5. Is this basically saying that any student can wear spirit wear and school club wear any day? Is that your interpretation
No,
of it?
no, not any day,
I'm
just on,
asking, yeah,
okay.
I'm asking her. It says worn on any school day. That's what it says. So is the presumption that there is no charge for that, I would assume, other than buying a spirit shirt from either Walmart or, from a vendor or from the school?
I think the last policy stated you could charge.
And now we took that out.
So we're not even saying you can't.
Yeah,
So
that was
we're-
my
right.
main issue, Dr.
Right, so we're not
So we took
putting
it
that in there
out.
because we're not promoting that. The school board actually promoted charging. The school
The last
system
time?
did, right.
Yeah,
Right, that's what was in the policy. Gave you once a month or once a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, it's not in here to address because we're not promoting that as a school system.
so that means principals will not be allowed to do
Is
that.
that what that means? Because it's no
I've
longer
never seen a school
allowed.
system do that anyway, so.
Me either.
Because it's no longer in our policy as allowed, therefore, it's not to be done?
It's not to be done.
Correct.
I would do it. Yes.
Is that our understanding?
That was my understanding of what the board intended.
We intended
That's
that
exactly
they
right.
not be charged.
Right.
And that's why I'm bringing it up.
And is that why you took the language out that allowed it in our previous policy? I have it here
Yes.
somewhere.
Yes.
But we can certainly expressly put in that it's not allowed as well.
Could, under that, number 5, could we say, students may not be, just add it to the end, students may not be charged to wear spirit wear or school club wear?
That's right.
Can we add that sentence?
Well, this says that a student can wear it any day, period.
Right.
I mean,
I
they
don't
So
might
they
on
can wear it,
Monday.
they can wear it.
Yeah, if it's
Spirit,
spirit wear, like shirts that they have at the school promoting something within that school, whether it's
because I think the subject of
academic schools or
discussion.
whatever.
Yeah, because the subject, from my point of view, and I think I addressed this in policy, was that spirit wear and club wear should be worn only on the days of the club. But to encourage other students to be more involved.
participate
To
and be involved.
participate. They can wear it at any time.
Yeah.
The problem that was presented to me was that kids in elementary school mainly were being charged to wear spirit wear, and they shouldn't be having to fundraise.
We found that
So,
out from our
yeah.
survey from the
Right.
principals. We did.
Right.
And it was
Right.
widely variable
Yeah.
between the schools.
It's also part of the Jean Day thing.
That's
Yeah, that
right.
was-
That's
that
our
was
Gene
big.
Day. So that none of that would be allowed from now on. And Cynthia, you can write that into the policy as an addendum to number 5.
There you go.
can.
This
But,
is where it used to
but,
be.
Or we can put it as a separate thing so that it would apply to denim
Right.
as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
for example, Caroline, I could see, okay, kids they want to wear blue jeans, want to have a blue jean. Well, we don't have,
Blue jean days.
Blue
anymore.
jean.
We have denim.
That's
we have denim and
Navy
it's
denim.
with specific colors.
Black.
And, but I can see, okay, you can wear them Fridays, but you got to bring $1. We just want to make sure
That's not
that's
happening.
not happening.
Right.
So it's more than spirit wear that you're talking about. You don't want students charged to wear anything that is
Not to
right.
wear in regards to
Jeans or
a dress
anything.
code or appearance.
That's
No.
Right.
Now, do I presume correctly that that does not stop the principals from using some of those, like, no uniform days as PBIS? Like I-
Most principals do it anyway. correct?
Right,
And that's-
okay, so that's,
That's what we
everybody's
wanna
good
do
with
that,
that.
for sure.
Okay.
Okay, so I think if we're going to extend that to the, because I see this old policy, or what it used to say, Jeans Day is limited to once a month and no more than 9 times a year. Jeans Day must be a reward for positive behavior or fundraising for a cause that benefits all the students at the school.
And that's what we want to cut out.
That
Well, it
came
is
out.
gone. That is
Yeah.
gone. that's not in there. That's the old policy. Correct?
Yeah,
It's gone.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's gone.
But what y'all are suggesting,
Yes.
and maybe we need to have somebody make an amendment or suggest.
No, we have, this is,
It's already
well,
done.
yes, we would need to amend it tonight, because that's right, it's not first reading.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
want to clarify something, Madam Chair.
Now, I never finished.
okay, can he
Yeah,
finish?
I
And if
just
you'd like
wanted you to know that.
And if you'd
I
like to,
would,
please go
I would
ahead.
appreciate
Please go
that,
ahead,
because
Mr.
I might
Forbes.
want to clarify some more stuff.
Please go ahead, Mr. Forbes.
I just wanted you to know that, Madam Chair.
No, go ahead.
Let's see. One other thing that I think the public needs to be aware of, for example, when we talked about hoodies and kids wearing hoodies, and if students wear those hoodies and they conform to our dress code policy by taking the hoodie off in class, that they were able to wear that hoodie, that coat to class. But if we had one student or two students that abused that, did not take the hoodie off in class, or they had to be told day in and day out that the hoodie, take the hood off, they would lose their privilege of wearing that hoodie to class.
Right.
They could wear it to the school, but they couldn't wear it to class. And we're not punishing everyone for
That's
something that only a few are abusing.
Thank you. That's section
Yes.
A4B.
Right.
Yes,
Correct.
Very good. That's right.
So-
Students
Right.
cannot wear hoods or hats or anything on, well, okay, hoods or hats in the.
Right. And again, my final point is just that the superintendent and staff and principals and teachers, and we have to put it on parents as well as the students, that they help all of us enforce this policy, because that's only gonna make it successful or
Yes.
not.
Well,
And we continue to change it every single year, but if we're not getting enforcement, that's where the breakdown's coming. That's where the problem is.
and I will say, thank you. That is a really good point, and I don't recall which, somebody made that suggestion to have it if principals wanted
Oh, yeah.
to have an exception, they needed to do it before the school year started, and the idea being that the policy committee or the full board, I'm not sure which, but the policy committee and then the full board would review all of the principal
Right.
requests for exceptions to the policy, because we want to keep the policy consistent. That was
Correct.
the idea.
Yeah.
And not have, like you said, different things going on at different schools.
And there may be something here that we've gone through it very carefully, but there might be something that to the majority of the principals that's really causing them problems and interfering with learning. And we should be able to hear what they have to say
Absolutely.
to
And
maybe correct that.
we had every intent of, frankly, making it easier for principals
Yeah.
and teachers to enforce and making it easier for students and their families to comply. I
Right.
mean, that, I
That's it.
believe, was what we were trying to do.
All right, that's it for me
So,
right now.
would you like to be thinking about an amendment?
Yeah,
How to
it
write-
doesn't, I don't,
Okay. All right, Mr. Forrest.
Well, first of all, correct me if I'm wrong, council, but we got to have a motion on the floor to accept before you can amend anything.
That's right. So
All right, now
that's fine. Think about
secondly,
it.
if I heard Worth correct, and then I heard some comments afterwards, it was my impression that if a child, student could wear denim, and we got in here, must be black, navy, or khaki, that incorporated blue jeans.
Navy.
That's
navy
what
denim.
that's what I'm understanding.
Navy denim, khaki denim, or black denim. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think jeans are typically made out of denim.
That's what I want to clarify.
Denim.
Because
But no
even
holes
around
and no
this board
cuts.
right now, I see some people kind of shaking their head no. So I just want to make sure we clarify.
yeah,
But no holes.
As long as
no
they don't
cuts.
have holes in them.
that's
Or
the
cuts.
key.
That's right.
Or it have to be navy, black, or khaki. Students may not be charged, oh, go ahead. Yes, sir.
Now, my only concern with it, if it needs some kind of individual interpretation to get to what we want, then the policy is not ready. I mean, we've talked here. I don't know how many adjustments that we're about to make, but when we sum it all up, the document itself should explain itself pretty much. Of course, Dr. Lanker's going to be the next step, and he's going to take it down to all the assistant principals first and then down. But it ought to be pretty much self-contained in itself, but if it requires an individual, one person's interpretation of what it really means, then we're not through with this document yet.
Yes, ma'am.
If you understand what I'm
Ms.
saying.
Well, I just wanted to say from listening to the comments, I believe that this policy encompasses everything that everyone has spoken of, with the exception of adding something about no charges.
Charges.
Okay, no charge.
In regards to the blue jeans, Carolyn,
Yes.
Carol, if I got-
Yes.
the blue jeans, that was something that we did discuss that the kids could wear,
That's right.
as long as they were presentable, no holes, anything, and that.
Yeah, that's what's in here. That's
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Blue, black, and khaki. Navy
So that
blue,
was
black,
good.
and
I
khaki.
didn't-
Right.
Navy blue, black, and
Yeah.
khaki denim with no holes, no cuts. Any other comments?
I gotta know.
Okay?
Okay, we gotta be careful how we say about charging from this standpoint. I understand exactly what Worth is saying, and I understand what he's trying to do, and I agree with it 100%. At the same time, you can't say that you can't have a fundraiser selling merchandise, because you might have a sports team, or I don't know, athletics or something that would charge to buy shirts or something. So I
We were
understand.
talking about buying.
No.
I think we we're talking about paying for the privilege
Yeah,
of
what you're wearing.
I understand that, but it needs to really make sure that we tie that down, because I can see that spilling over in the fundraising efforts.
So, Mr. Forrest, how does this sound? Students may not be charged to deviate from the dress code policy.
Yeah.
The dress code policy includes athletic, principal-approved club wear, athletic wear,
That sounds.
and,
that's good.
okay.
That sounds doable.
Yeah.
Is that what y'all are talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And there doesn't need to be to pay for a privilege.
That's right.
Right.
Should
Well,
that state?
That's it. That's it. That
Okay.
covers it.
Okay.
Don't y'all think?
I don't know that you're paying to deviate from it, you're paying for them to actually follow it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because
But-
they're allowed to wear spirit wear.
Because of things
They're not
they get
wanting to
charged
deviate
for.
from that. You're just not making them pay for wearing it.
Right.
Yes.
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
if the policy says that you can wear these things any day, every day,
Right.
is it more of a procedural thing, just to make sure everybody is aware that you cannot charge? I mean, do you have,
That's all.
it's really just a
It's more of a
procedural?
Proceed-
You think it's a procedure rather than
Yes.
policy?
Okay.
I think it is. I don't know
mean,
why you
I'm
need to say
fine.
both.
Ever how I see it, as long as it's out there.
Yes,
You can
I'm
call
clear.
it what you want to call it. Policy, procedure.
Ms. Williams
Whatever.
and Mr. Forrest, you both expressed opinions about this. Do you think it can be handled in procedure to the dress code policy?
I'm fine with it.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
My only comment to that would be, since you asked me, Madam Chair, I can.
I'm asking.
You don't need to ask him.
Because I've already had my 2 comments on this subject, but,
You get as many as you need, Mr.
Well-
Forrest.
And we won't charge you.
You paying?
I say,
I guarantee you, whatever you pass here, there's something left out.
Right.
I don't know what that is. That somebody will figure out we can charge for that.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I think Worth is very worthy to ask that we add to that we don't charge for the opportunity to wear these clothes.
Okay, students may not be charged to comply with or deviate from the dress code policy? Would that cover the waterfront?
How about just students cannot be charged in any way related to
Clothing?
clothing?
Or there you go.
Students may not be charged.
Well, you can't say that if you are going to allow them to buy the athletic wear
Well,
at
no,
school.
can't, okay.
To wear them
wear them.
versus
Wear
to buy
them.
them.
Yeah, to wear.
Somebody
There you
write
go.
something down that works.
I like that. That works.
because we still want them to be able to wear, buy
From the
shirts,
schools.
Sure, of course, you want to be
you
able to
know,
buy, yeah,
spirit wear, you know,
Absolutely.
whatever.
to wear Somebody got this written down somewhere. I'm not going to make the motion. Somebody else has to make the motion.
Students may not be charged. Okay, it was good when it came
To
out the first
wear.
time.
Specific items of clothing may not be charged to wear.
To wear,
Because to purchase is different, but to
Right.
wear. Any item of clothing may not be charged to wear any item of clothing. Is that?
I think that's clear.
Or how about, students may not be charged for wearing any item of clothing approved below? And I was thinking of putting it in at the end of the second paragraph under A on page 1.
Under A, okay,
Below and
after
above.
good judgment? No, she's talking about right here at the top, above everything.
All right.
So good.
Rather than put it at the end.
Put it at the beginning.
Seem like maybe before you start going into the list of clothing, you could put it there.
And just so the public knows, we did hear from parents about this issue. Okay,
Oh,
and
yeah.
especially parents who have multiple children.
Yep.
Either in the same school or different schools. This is a financial burden. So we did hear about that
Okay.
in a negative way.
What,
Can you reread that, Cynthia?
Students may not be charged for wearing any item of clothing approved below.
And that's in, right after A and before
Schools
1?
may not charge students
May not be charged.
for wearing any item of clothing approved below.
I mean, that would-
Does that do it?
if that, yeah.
Anyway, if it's any of being charged, I'm gonna bring it back up.
Well, we can bring it back up every, well, we can bring it
Well,
up.
I'm gonna bring it up at the next meeting if they're charged.
Okay.
So do we need a motion to approve policy 4316 and waive the second reading? The first reading.
First reading.
Okay, I make the motion that we approve policy 4316, student dress code and appearance, without the first reading. And then we'll amend it after this. Is that correct? Or with amendments?
You could do it together.
No, you can't.
Oh, you can?
Because to waive a policy requires a 2/3 vote. To adopt a policy requires a majority vote.
So we're waiving a first reading,
We're
Right,
waiving
that-
the reading.
Waiving that,
Waving, no.
that takes 2/3.
but you're saying to amend
We amend it afterwards?
takes
What
2/3?
you gotta do is waive your policy. That requires a 2/3 vote. Then you gotta put a motion on the floor to adopt this policy.
Okay.
And then you got to put an amendment on the floor. It's gonna require 3 motions.
Okay.
All righty.
Okay, well, in order to make the first motion, I would like to make that motion. And the intent with waiving the first reading is to make sure that parents have enough time. They have a policy that's in place. We don't meet in July. So parents can start to shop and be outfitted. Their kids can be outfitted for school come the beginning of school, the end of August. So my motion is that we waive the first reading of policy 4316.
And I second that.
Okay, discussion. All in favor, raise your right hand of waiving the first reading of 4316. Thank you. All opposed, raise your right hand. Okay. We have one dissenter. Did you get that, Carol? All right, thank you very much. So we have waived the first reading of policy 4316. Is there another motion?
I'll just carry on
I
with the
move
motions.
that we adopt policy 4316, student dress code and appearance.
Thank you.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt the student dress code and appearance policy 4316. Any discussion? Please raise your right hand if you're in favor.
Wait.
Excuse me?
You got to amend it if you want to do that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, before we vote.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right, we've had a motion and a second that we approve policy 4316.
As amended.
It hasn't been
No.
amended
You have
yet.
to amend it.
Okay.
So
Is there a motion to
I would
amend it?
motion that we amend policy 4316 to reflect the following change as Cynthia wrote it.
Yeah, and make sure you state it again.
State it.
Say it again.
Because we
You
got
have it written
TV
down?
cameras
I
rolling.
think I wrote what you said, students, please correct me if I'm wrong, students may not be charged for.
Well, my last version
Okay, go
changed
ahead,
it a
go
little
ahead.
bit, but schools may not charge students for wearing any item of clothing approved below.
Okay, Steve, can you make that a motion?
I make a motion that we amend policy 4316 to reflect the addition of the language that says that students may not be charged to wear any of the items of clothing listed below.
And I second the amendment.
Any discussion? We have a motion for an amended policy on the floor. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of the motion to approve student dress code and appearance 4316 as amended, please raise your right hand. And all opposed? Okay, thank you very much. Motion passes.
Now, one more thing. Motion as amended.
Motion as amended has passed. Thank you. Is that what you're
Now,
saying?
you
We
just
got to
voted
go
on the
with
amendment.
amendment. Now we got to go back to vote.
Back.
You gonna keep me straight, aren't you? Okay, so we just voted on the
We
motion
haven't
as
got to the
amended.
policy yet.
We haven't got to
We
the
haven't
policy.
got to the policy yet.
All right.
Amended it now.
So we have an amended policy. The amended policy has been approved. Is there another motion?
I motion that we approve policy 4316 as amended.
I second.
You don't have to, let me see if I can help
You
you.
can go ahead and do it.
You got this amendment, it passed. Now you got a motion on the floor that we adopt this with that inclusion. All you got to do is say, if there's no further discussion, we'll now proceed to vote on the motion as amended.
Okay, thank you. If there's no further discussion, we will now proceed to vote on the motion to adopt 4316 as amended.
So moved.
No more discussion, right? All right, all in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you. All opposed, like sign. Okay, Carol? Okay, we have one dissenter. All right, motion passes. Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Parliamentarian, for keeping us straight. Very much appreciated. We got to do it right, and I really do appreciate your expertise in that process. Okay, closing comments by the superintendent.
First, just like to thank Dexter for being here. It's good to see a guy the same height as me ran hurdles as well. I ran the 300 hurdles in high school, and I didn't finish yet, but that kid did an amazing job. He was definitely smooth. Last thing, just quickly mention that Pitt County Schools, the employees, the teachers, everybody that works for Pitt County Schools is recognized by the United Way for their contributions. Pitt County Schools has donated over $79,000 to the local United Way. That gave us the highest increase over the last 2-year period of any schools, of any employer in our size. So certainly proud to be part of Pitt County Schools along with our employees for what they do for the community. And again, $79,000 is outstanding work. It's gone up every year since I've been here. We're lucky to have a great team like United Way supporting all of Pitt County. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Excellent.
Good.
Mr. Moore?
Great. This week is graduate week, and I think we all are getting ready to get ourselves set for that. On Thursday, there will be one graduation. Friday is two, and on Saturday, there will be 4. I see a head being shaken back there. Have we switched to anything like that? Friday, 2. I thought that's what I said. Friday, 2, 4 on Saturday, 1 on Thursday.
Yes.
None on Thursday.
Yes, we do. Pitt Academy.
Yeah.
Pitt Academy.
I'm calling that part of that too, because I have to dress up for that also. Dr. Lewis, you probably ought to be there too. But this is for the graduates. I kind of looked through something that I would say tonight for graduates. And Ernest Hemingway said, "It is good to have an end to all your journeys forward, but it is the journey that matters and not necessarily when you get there. And I'm asking graduates to remember this quote as you journey ahead. Continue to make the right choices and take advantage of all the opportunities that arise, because they will come. And it is now that part in your life when those opportunities come, you ought to be there, willing, able, and ready to grab one. We are confident you will never cease to confront life's challenges and with grace and courage. Don't remember those two words, grace and courage. Please stay in touch with us. We're proud of your success, and we will make sure that we keep you in our thoughts and our prayers. Congratulations, seniors. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Flanagan.
Yeah, I'm excited about graduations this week. It's my first time to attend 7 graduation ceremonies. I'm really looking forward to that. I haven't been to one since I graduated high school. So I'm excited about that. But I was able to attend 2 award ceremonies. Of course, as a board member, you get invited to all, but I was only able to get to South Central and Farmville Central, and really was just amazed at the young kids, students, in Pitt County schools at South Central and Farmville Central, and the things that they have accomplished, and I'm so proud of them. And their awards and accolades and scholarships are just mind-boggling. So we have some really amazing things going on here at Pitt County schools, and I look forward to celebrating this weekend with them. Also, thank you to Parents for Public Schools. They are really such a valuable resource. I mean, when you have an organization that comes to the board and offers to help, it's fantastic. I really appreciate the hours and the time that you have put in without an agenda. It's always very open and honest, and I think that's a wonderful resource that we have here in Pitt County. So thank you, Parents for Public Schools, for all of your efforts in that regard. And I will leave my last 50 seconds to you, Melinda.
I would also like to say thank you to Parents for Public Schools. They just do so much wonderful things for our students, our schools, our teachers, staff, and everyone. And thank you for the privilege. I was one of those 3 graduates around this table that attended the PEP, and that was just such a wonderful opportunity for me as an individual, as a parent, and as a school board member. And I think you're going to see more beautiful beautification projects going on around the schools. And I really look forward to not only doing my project, but branching out to other schools that are in need of that. Good luck to the students that are doing finals. 1 down, 3 to go for high school. And then, of course, the elementary and middle school children, depending on where they go. I know some of them have some tomorrow, so good luck on your finals. In terms of graduation, I'd say congratulations to the seniors that are going to be graduating this coming weekend and their families. Best wishes, whether they're going into the workforce, military, or going on to further their education in college. I know I'm thrilled. I'm going to also go to all of the graduations, but I'm especially looking to the last one because my son will be graduating at 6 o'clock on Saturday. So I'm very, very proud of him and very excited about going and seeing him walk across that stage. And last but not least, everybody have a safe summer. Have fun, but please be careful. I know summertime is really, it's a fun time, but it can be dangerous when people are out traveling or on the water and stuff. So please be safe because we want to see you come back in August. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ms. Council?
Okay, well, I'd like to ditto all the things that's been said, and especially about graduation, but one of the things that makes me happy about graduation, that when a child graduates, the whole family graduates, and it's a great time, and it gets better parents when they go and graduate from college and go through the military services and all those things. It gets bigger and better. This is just your beginning, but we salute you, parents, and all the people in the community that has been a part of these young people's success stories. And I'd like to congratulate all of you that have children, especially our superintendent. His daughter's graduated, and I know he's real proud of that as well. Also, I attended D.H. Conley's Awards Day this year because I had some young people there that was real special to me, and one was my 4-H'er, and we had 5 4-H'ers in the school system that graduated this year, and 3 of those had been with me for 9 years, and we celebrated them on Memorial Weekend. And that was very exciting to have one from D.H. Conley, one from North Pitt, one from the Catholic school, John Paul Catholic School, one homeschool, and another homeschool / Pitt Community College. And all of those 5 kids are headed for college in the fall, and we're excited about that too. And I also attended the Health Science Academies. Those were great programs, and we encourage more young people to get involved with them as well, because it's a really great way to experience healthcare in many facets. So a salute to all of them, and have a great summer.
Thank you so much. Mr. Forrest.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chairman. School is always an exciting time, but there's some times that are more exciting than others. I guess at the beginning of school, it's very exciting to start back, but at the end of school, it's a very exciting time too, because you get the opportunity to graduate. So many of our students are. I know our communities are so tied to that, with the various and sundry churches that have had their own mini graduations, and then other community organizations that have just expanded on what we try to do in Pitt County. And the thing that I guess really grabs my attention more than anything else is the tremendous, Mildred, time and energy and effort it takes by our teachers and staff to really put all of this together at the end, and the extra time and the extra commitment that it takes. It is really almost beyond words, and that's another reason why I think organizations and like our county commission that really looks at helping us to be able to continue to fund our schools, and also at the same time to be able to continue to reward our teachers for that extra effort. And I just appeal to them also to continue to help us strive to increase those opportunities and those resources for our schools.
Thank you very much, Mr. Forrest. Ms. Smith?
Obviously, I echo what everyone said about graduation. I want to congratulate the 3 on the board who have children graduate. And this is a busy week, and a board meeting week is always full of all kinds of back and forth and preparation. And so I appreciate your children being willing to part with you on this important week, for some of it for the greater good of the school system. But I congratulate you all and look forward to celebrating your children this weekend. I would also like to send a special thanks to the teachers and staff who have just hung in there like troopers all year, and in large part have done so with a tremendous amount of grit and grace. And, when I get the privilege of watching a teacher celebrate with joy over a student achievement, or I've actually seen teachers weeping when a particular student was having a challenge. And when you see those moments, as we are blessed to get to see, then you know that our staff and our teachers are invested and they care deeply. And that's a huge burden, in addition to just the day-to-day workload that they carry. So to all you teachers, thank you. And to the students out there testing, finish strong.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah. And I would also like to just say, especially with our students that are continuing to be involved in tests, that they really do the best that they can. They're not only doing the best they can for our school system, but for themselves, most importantly. And, the seniors that are graduating this year, I would just say that they really need to also cherish the friendships of the people that they are with right now, because many of them will go their separate ways, and you will never see them again. Some of the individuals. I mean, when I look back on some of when I graduated, there are some that I haven't seen since then, but they were, at that time they were good friends. I would also say that there are many students that receive scholarships, they received awards, they made good grades, but then there is that student who struggled their whole school life. And it came easy to some, but to them, they struggled. And, we really needed to congratulate them on what they did also. They may not have their names so forth in lights, but yet they've made it and they've graduated and they can make a strong contribution to society no matter what they do if they just do the best they can. And I always think about those students. I'm just praying that they have a safe summer, travel, especially with swimming. We always hear of accidents, but we just hope and pray that that does not happen. And I just want to congratulate all the staff up here as well as in the schools, because it took all of us working together and parents to get these kids to the point that they are at this particular time in their life. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Mr. Ford, Ms. Williams?
Yes, I'd like to thank everyone who came out today. We've got a pretty much a full house and it looks real good. I'd like to still send my condolences out to the Cobb and the Purvis families and to the Pactolus and Wintergreen students and staff, as they went through bereavement. I also would like to thank our crisis team. Ms. Cassandra Campbell leads an excellent group, and they were there, to help those families and students along the way. I'd like to say congratulations to the parents and to the students that got their stress relieved with the end of grade test as of last week, and we're looking for excellent scores from our students. I'd like to say congratulations to Mr. McDuffie and his family. He's a bright young man, and he has a beautiful future in front of him, and we're very proud of him. I'd like to say congratulations to the students and parents as they take their next steps into life. I'm like Worth. I think about the kids who are the fighters, the strugglers, not the ones that's necessarily always at the top of the list, but always giving their best to do their best. And I also like to say we're under a tornado watch. Hurricane season just started June 1st, and we have to be mindful of the weather. Currently, the hurricane is north of the river, headed towards my home in Bethel. It was at Beargrass currently. So we need to, tornado warnings. So we all need to be careful going home tonight. God bless everybody.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Okay. I'd just like to also extend my condolences to the Cobb and Purvis families. Both Ahmad and Randavia were treasured by their teachers, their classmates, their principals, and I know it's going to be a very difficult difficult future ahead for those families without these precious children who were taken far too soon. So, and I also would like to thank our crisis counseling teams for being right there on the spot. It's very impressive that they're out there to help the schools deal with such tragic losses of our precious children. I'd also like to commend and actually ask people to pay attention to the solid waste trucks driving around Greenville. There's some new artwork on there. A couple weeks ago, there were some Pitt County School students who were able to sign their artwork that was wrapped around our solid waste trucks, and I think this is the third year that this has been done. It's very exciting. It's a wonderful thing to celebrate art in a very public way and to beautify something that needs beautifying. So it's a wonderful thing. We're proud of them for that. I'd also, like to thank both this board and the community for engaging with each other many times this year over a wide variety of issues. Not just public expression. We do appreciate those who come here and bring issues to our attention that are important to people in our community. But the wide variety of listening sessions that have been held this year. First, with the sixth grade athletic eligibility, there were some of those held when we had to meet and make those decisions. Several on the uniform policy, and most recently the transfer policy exception just this past Thursday night. And my point about all that is it is critical for us as a board to be able to do our job well, to actually hear from parents who are impacted by our decisions. You know, it's just critical, and we really appreciate the work also of organizations like Parents for Public Schools who actually go out and ask questions that they think are important and then take the time to catalog that information. So through listening sessions and information such as that and the surveys that are sent to us, we really appreciate it. We know you're all busy. We know all parents are very, very busy, and community members. You have your jobs, and you have to deal with your kids, and you're getting food on the table, etc. We really appreciate you taking the time to come out and share your thoughts and opinions with us. It means a lot. We take it seriously every time. We take it seriously. I'd also, as a parent of a senior, I'd like to say thank you. I'm going to try to stop crying. My daughter has been a Pitt County Schools student for 11 really blessed years. Her teachers, her principals, her coaches, her mentors have provided her with amazing opportunities. And she has, because she has supported parents at home who know the value of education, she has been able to take advantage of those opportunities. And it is an incredible gift to her and to her future and to her family. I am
She's gonna cry.
The teachers and the principals, and all of them, the coaches and the mentors, have invested so much of their heart, their skill, their talent, their time in all of our students. And I don't know if a luncheon, you know, or a little thank you note, I don't know how we can express it enough to show just how much we appreciate their dedication to the teaching profession and school administration profession and coaching and all of that. These folks are working day in, day out, nights, weekends, holidays to enrich the educational experience of our children. And our children have greatly benefited from that, and so have children who have struggled every single step of the way. I'm not saying mine hasn't struggled, she has, but they care deeply. And I believe Pitt County Schools is doing great things to support teachers to be able to reach out to all learners, no matter where they are, and no matter where they start, and even regardless of where the support for education in their homes. I think we can do more of that. And I just would like to express sincere and deep appreciation for all school personnel who have really, they're graduating too. This is the product of their efforts, and they are graduating too. So, thank you very much. Okay, I believe that is the end of this. Yes, ma'am?
I just wanted to make one comment.
Closed session.
I just want to make one comment. This week, I had this call from a graduate of last year, Farmer Central student that is home for the summer. And she said she met me last year at graduation, and she was so excited about the way I congratulated her. And I saw her a few weeks ago at an A&T event, and so she reunited and she called me, emailed me, wanted to do some volunteer work. She said that she was just touched by, and you think the little things you do don't matter, but just touched by having the way I congratulated her. So she's want to volunteer with me this summer to shadow what I do. And she is now a sophomore at North Carolina A&T State University, majoring in biology and doing exceptionally well, but a Farmer Central student. So I met today, took her to lunch, and I have lots of work for her to do. And so I just want to say, so when you congratulate these kids, you don't know what you're getting yourself into, but that was really special. And so I'm going to put her to work on several projects. And so she can have some volunteer experiences.
Thank you very much. Now, Ms. Williams, could you, we need to go into closed session.
Yes. I move that we go into closed session pursuant to General Statute 143.318.11 for the following purposes. Under the subsection A1, to prevent the disclosure of privileges or confidential personnel information. General Statutes 115C-319. Under the subsection A3, to consult with our attorney and to consider and give instructions concerning the judicial actions title.
Titled, and then if you could read the title.
I have to read the title.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Cora L. Gorham White versus Pitt County Schools.
Okay. We need to go into closed session if everyone else could leave. Thank you very much for being here. We need a break. Okay, guys, let's take a couple minutes.
I gotta get me a good app for weather, so what you guys recommend?
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second. It's been moved by Mr. Moore, seconded by Ms. Smith. All in favor?
I like one like that, right? See,
All
green and red
opposed? We are adjourned.